Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today we're tackling a very specific and, let's be honest, a very sweaty summer problem. How do you cool down an older, charming home without completely destroying it in the process? If you're someone who loves unpacking really smart, structured solutions to complex architectural challenges, you are absolutely in the right place. We're going to be looking at a brilliant solution drawn from smart housing systems called SpacePak high-velocity air conditioning. And we're going to break down exactly how this technology lets you cool off without bringing in the wrecking ball. Okay, let's dive into this. I want to speak directly to those of you who own or maybe just absolutely love historic homes. You know the feeling. You're standing in a beautiful older house with pristine plaster walls and gorgeous historic ceilings, but you're sweating bullets, and you just dread the thought of tearing those walls open to get some cool air. For the longest time, the conventional wisdom was just, well, if you want central AC, you've got to accept massive demolition. But do you? Do you really have to tear your house apart? The source material we're looking at today presents a seriously compelling alternative for households that are, as they perfectly put it, ductless averse. To really get why this solution is a game changer, we first have to talk about the problem. It's what I call the ductwork dilemma. Homes that were built without existing ductwork face a literal wall. Retrofitting standard conventional ducts into these spaces requires major demolition. Think about it. You're basically trying to shove massive metal tubes into walls and floors that were quite literally never designed to hold them. It's wildly disruptive, it ruins your beautiful finishes, and honestly, it turns a comfortable home into a full-blown construction zone in no time. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer contrast between the two systems. With conventional air seat, you're looking at that bulky ductwork, which leads directly to the invasive structural changes we just talked about. High-velocity AC, though, it changes the physical footprint completely. It uses much smaller insulated supply lines, and that one simple change allows for unbelievably flexible routing. The key takeaway from our source here is that this difference in size is the exact thing that preserves your home's finishes and keeps you from having to hack away at your ceilings. Enter the hero of our explainer, SpacePak high-velocity AC. This system completely flips the script on how we think about cooling. Instead of relying on a massive volume of air chugging through giant metal ducts, this system relies on speed. It uses small, heavily insulated supply lines that can literally be snaked through tight existing spaces, moving conditioned air at much higher speeds through a really compact network. It's a highly engineered workaround that totally bypasses the need for structural changes, making it absolutely perfect for older homes. So how does it actually work? Let's trace the air. It all starts at the central air handler, where a coil conditions the air. Then a specialized blower pushes it out at high velocities into that compact network of small diameter ducts. That high-speed air zips through all those tight little spaces, and finally it's delivered quietly into your rooms through these really unobtrusive room-level outlets. It's a beautifully streamlined, highly efficient process from start to finish. And because of that incredibly compact size, installers can get super creative. These supply lines weave through your home like a well-kept secret. We're talking unseen pathways. They can be tucked right into the corners of closets, hidden completely out of sight in soffits, or even snaked through ceilings where putting standard ductwork would be basically impossible. Installers can use much shorter routes and tighter pathways. What does that mean for you? It means your home's aesthetics remain perfectly intact, but you still get that blast of cool air you desperately need. And this brilliantly illustrates the real-world impact. Our source material points out that using these smaller, flexible ducts translates directly into fewer structural changes and a more manageable project timeline. If you've ever lived through a home renovation, you know exactly how valuable the words manageable timeline are, right? You aren't gutting your house, you're smartly retrofitting it. The disruption to your daily life is kept to a bare minimum, and the whole path to getting a comfortable home is just significantly less stressful. But wait, it gets better. The benefits go way beyond just an easier install. There's a huge performance upgrade here, which we can call the retrofit advantage. Because you're using these smaller, room-specific outlets, you actually unlock true room-to-room zoning flexibility. Think about standard AC for a second. It's often a single, oversized system that leaves you absolutely freezing downstairs while you're roasting in the upstairs bedrooms. With high velocity, you can tailor the airflow to exactly how each space is used. Pair that with smart thermostat controls, and you've got vastly superior, customized comfort. All right, we've covered the theory, but if you're sitting there looking at your own hard-to-duct home right now, what do you actually need to consider before you pick up the phone to call a contractor? Because, as our source makes very clear, while this is an incredible retrofit solution, it is definitely not a one-size-fits-all scenario. Let's look at what absolutely needs to happen behind the scenes to get this right. There are 3 critical planning stages your installer has to nail. First up is the load calculation. They have to correctly size the equipment based on your home's specific cooling demand, and that means factoring in your insulation levels, how good your windows are, and of course, your local climate. Next, they have to carefully plan the air handler location. It needs to draw return air efficiently, but it also has to be accessible for maintenance down the road. Finally, the duct network itself. It requires strategic routing and extremely rigorous insulation to make sure that high-velocity air actually makes it into your rooms at the exact right temperature. So the crucial point is that installation quality really matters. Because this system is pushing air at such high speeds, the stakes for getting the install right are much higher. None of the awesome benefits we've talked about mean a thing if the system isn't put in correctly. You need expert sealing to prevent high-pressure air leaks. You need thorough insulation wrapped around every single one of those compact duct runs to stop energy loss. And you absolutely must have precise airflow balancing. Getting that balance right is the only way to maintain consistent supply temperatures and ensure maximum efficiency across your whole house. Let's move to and see how this builds into the big picture. When you bring all these elements together, the compact design, the flexible routing, the expert installation, you achieve something truly remarkable for historic properties. You are taking hard-to-duct homes, spaces that previously had to rely on those loud, clunky window units or visually intrusive alternatives, and you are seamlessly turning them into efficiently conditioned spaces. It's a highly practical path that completely preserves your home's character while giving you the modern, consistent cooling you'd expect in a brand new build. It really is a brilliant fusion of modern engineering and historic preservation. We've seen today exactly how high-velocity AC bypasses the absolute nightmare of major demolition, hides neatly within your existing architecture, and offers precise, zoned comfort. So, take a look around your space and ask yourself, is your hard-to-duct home finally ready for a cool down?